It's a passage from St. Paul to the Corinthians where St. Paul safeguards, drawing attention to the need we have to care for the treasure that is faith. He says, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that his life may also be revealed in our mortal body. So then, death is at work in us, but life is at work in you." This treasure we carry is in jars of clay. When we speak here initially that our faith doesn't always have the maturity to understand this partnership between God and humanity, or even to realize that in this partnership, the primacy is always of divine grace. St. Augustine said that we are not capable of doing good unless good had first been given to us. So you see, what I do because God has already done it in me. God only asked for what he's already given us. Look at how interesting this is. If he asked me to love, it's because he has already given me love before. If he asked me to be good, it's because he has already given me goodness before. It's the corroboration of this word. I cannot be by myself. It is always God who sustains me, who helps me. And that's why I need to identify in the daily life of my life, how can I live this partnership without pretending to be his advisor, to keep telling him, because the advisor is like that. I know because I have an advisor in my daily life, and I know how it works. Sometimes I'm there, ready to receive so-and-so, the advisor comes, his name, blah, 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 so that I can greet so-and-so when he arrives, already with the information. So it's that quick information. I'm in the van, and the girl is already talking. "Father, the event is such, talking about such and such who will receive us. It's Bishop so-and-so, I don't know what, blah, blah, blah. The priest will be there, this and that, so that I know who the people are." Sometimes we want to do the same thing with God. We think we're his advisor, that we're going to tell him all the news of the world. It's like that prayer we sometimes see out there, isn't it? "Oh Lord, look at him, how sad he is. Heal him, Jesus." Isn't that right? As if he were not able to know what needs to be done. As if the wisest one in the story were me. "You see, Lord, she's very upset with life. Come on, Jesus, fix this in her life." Folks, our prayer cannot have that load of arrogance. You know why? Because it doesn't mature us. Lord, we present the person. We present their reality. We believe in your love. We believe in your goodness. That's it. We become more humble in prayer, And then we'll also allow that prayer to clarify within us what we need to do for the miracle to come true. Because it's very convenient, isn't it? To believe in a Nestor God who is always at your disposal, ready to do everything you ask, the way you ask, and in the order you ask. And woe betide him if he doesn't do it the way you ask, when you ask. No, it can't be like that. Our faith has to give us the confidence that he does what really needs to be done, and that sometimes we don't even know. We're so limited that sometimes we think what God needs to do is move this thing from here to there. And we're convinced of that, when in fact, we might be very mistaken. No, God doesn't have to move this thing from here. He just has to drag it over here. And sometimes it takes us a while to realize that what we were asking for wasn't honest. And then God did everything the way we didn't want it. And we realized that it really was the best way to solve that situation. That's why faith should always give us the maturity of silence, of surrender. The other day I was talking about this with a friend of mine who was very upset about a situation she was going through. And I noticed this anxiety due to the excess of requests, the excess of pleas, and of course, I respected it. I'm not in her. I'm not feeling the pain she feels. I'm not experiencing the despair she experiences. Oh, but if my opinion is asked, I don't miss the opportunity. Don't you think you should withdraw more, ask less? You've already asked. You know so closely the mercy of God. Why doubt it now? Because if I ask too much for the same thing, It's as if I were showing it to myself, not to him, folks. Prayer. We need to scale. It's what it does to us. If I ask too much for the same thing, I can generate within me a silent disbelief, or then a belief that God only answers when we insist. Insistence is not to change what he thinks. Insistence must be if it exists. And then we have to change the words. We have to stop asking him. We have to ask for ourselves. It's for our nature to be enlightened by ours, so that we can identify what needs to be transformed in us. Because if I insist too much on asking God to do this, to do that, every day I ask the same thing. Every day I ask the same thing. I'm considering that he is not capable of keeping in his heart what I have already surrendered. I wish that in your struggles, you always have the right and the possibility to withdraw your excesses so that you can have before your eyes your fundamental truth, without exaggeration, just you. And from that, you rediscover the path of life. Thank you for your kindness, for your attention, and may God bless you greatly. May God pour out on your heart, on your home, on your life, the disposition that characterized the heart of Our Lady, so that in her example, we too can be true Christians, always carrying Jesus in our arms to present him to those who do not yet know him. If something is bothering me, the first thing, what can I do to reduce this concern? Is there something concrete I can do? So, you have a pain, a betrayal. Have you already gone to the trader to return his garbage? Do you have something stuck, something you need to resolve within your heart, throw away, through words, a cry, I don't know, some action of yours that can diminish this feeling of discomfort? We need to do it. It's the same with concern. When something worries me and I discover in that concern what I can do to diminish the effect of that concern on my life, and I do it, then I start to open the doors for that past to start to pass. Because otherwise, we'll dam up the experience that wasn't worth it. We'll hold within us the event, the happening that hurt us, that injured us, and then we'll live a continuous process of injuries and wounds. Because the memory, the resentment, the bitterness, they only provoke new wounds within us. I've never seen anyone healed by holding on to resentment. What is resentment? To resent. It's feeling several times. It's as if you took a razor blade and kept passing it over the same spot on your skin. It will never heal, and the cut gets worse. Because you keep damaging the skin, keep damaging. You're losing the opportunity to live the healing. Isn't that so? Have you noticed that when it starts to heal, it gets a little itchy? Isn't that so? Healing causes an itching sensation, right? It's the same inside us. You can observe there are many effective situations that sometimes we are starting to recover from them. Then you have that feeling every now and then of wanting to pick at the scabs of healing. Hold that there. Manage to keep your hatreds under control. Manage to keep your resentments under control. Manage to keep your needs under control. And then you start to experience the liberation process from the negative consequences that fact has caused you. That's life. Everyone gets hurt. I can't create a dome for myself. You can't create one for you. So every now and then, people will hurt us with words. People will hurt us with actions. Now, you can't allow the word that hurts and the action that hurts to cause wounds in your being and to last longer than they should. It reached your being. It went deep into your life. It went deep into your heart. Start finding a way to heal that. Because once you have a wound in your being, you run the risk of infecting everything. In affections, that's how it works, right? Sometimes something comes, hurts our heart, we lose the disposition for everything. Lose the disposition for studies, lose the disposition for work. Why? This has an impact. It affects us. Now, the time it will take for what affects you needs to be managed by you. After all, it's your being at stake, right? And suddenly you start doing everything wrong because your being is hurt. So there's always a little wound there in your being that needs to be cared for. My people, this is an exercise for every day. You see? Living the experience of being with Jesus is managing within us all these healings that we need to experience so that we become like Jesus. I want to be like him, but to be like him, I need to heal many things that are wrong in my being. I need every now and then to visit my past, to understand the present. Why am I sometimes arrogant? Was there a time in my life when I was humiliated too much? And because I was humiliated too much, I have difficulty managing the moments when someone contests me. No one is by chance. Healing of being happens. When we pray, when I ask God to come and heal my heart, to come and heal my mind, these are expressions we use all the time. But God often heals our heart, heals our mind through our reflection. When you start to put your disordered feelings in order, when you start to regain the harmony that life and events sometimes take away. And that's what I wish for you. That in today's day of your life, of your story, you are committed to healing the wounds of your being. If they hurt you, don't take that with you. Just take it as a lesson for you not to do it to others. But don't let it turn into bitterness, sadness. To be creative, it has to exert within us the movement of overcoming. So, why am I sad? Why am I hurt, upset? I observe that moment. I live that moment as a purpose of overcoming. Because if I don't overcome, I run the risk of turning it into bitterness. And bitterness doesn't do the heart good. A bitter heart can't perceive light. A bitter heart remains focused on the same things. When we focus on the same things, when we don't broaden our view, we run the risk of making our life experience unhappy.
Father, I am Catholic. I have been widowed for 9 years. And whenever something bad, some problem is about to happen to them, I have dreamed a lot from my husband, and in the dream, he tells me that my children need me. This situation has bothered me a lot. I would like to know what you think about it. We need to take a distance sometimes when it comes to the dream. What we have with those who have died. The messages we receive from these people. Even because our Christian faith does not allow us. Within the context of what we'll learn. From what we know. What the church teaches us. We live communion with the saints. We live communion with the saints. So all those who have died participate in this communion. But the church does not believe in this communication with the dead. We respect those who believe this way. So we have a way to interpret often what we call each other's message to us through dreams. Science has evolved a lot to understand dreams. We already have a very interesting arsenal for us to be able to make an analysis of why we dream. Why realities come to us through dreams that are nothing less than revelations of the unconscious. What does psychology teach us? That when we sleep, our unconscious becomes more active. It begins to bring out what we consciously cannot say and not even try. So, often, the dream is a voice of the unconscious telling us what we often say too. You, for example, know that the father was extremely concerned about the children. So it is natural for you to have dreams in which he is worried. These are records that you have. The lady assimilated her husband as a man who always worried about her children. That was the experience. And what a beautiful experience you had. From a husband who was always very present in the lives of the children. I don't know how much involvement you have with these children, but it may be that at some point in your life, you have assimilated it. He worries more than me. So now, with him absent, it is a way you have to tell you what you would like to hear. I say again, We respect those who believe different, those who believe in this communication. But as we do not believe, we can also understand these dreams as signs that help us think of our posture. What we can't do is allow them to determine our reality. So, because I dreamed, let's say my father died in a moment of much suffering, and from time to time these dreams occur to me. My father died, and I saw my father dying. My father had died of a pulmonary embolism, a horrible respiratory failure, and I was next door. So my father's agony was very marked on me. And of course, that record of seeing my father passing on in that agony was recorded in me for many years. So, from time to time I had dreams that my father was agonized, sad, terrified of death. So if I wanted to read different from the one I'm doing, I could say, oh, my father is not in a good place in eternity. He's suffering. It's like that. It's okay. Praying for those who have died is one thing. Now, we are creating situations for us to be able to. It's like we were undermining our peace, isn't it? Because what can I change in the reality of my father? But unfortunately, because I have records of that death that stayed in my unconscious, when I sleep while I'm awake, I can even control. I won't think about it now. I will replace that bad image of my father's death with good memories throughout his life. And I do this because my conscious is a tool that helps me. The conscious, this reality that I am now. I'm aware of my moment, so I have all the resources of this consciousness. I'll think wisely. I'll think with rationality. I'll put it no. The dead do not come back. The dead will not be able to do anything here now. Equal to be afraid who has died from. You rationalize fear. Why am I afraid if I know they can't go back and do me harm? So this is my conviction. It may not be yours. I'm talking to those who believe just like me. I believe that all the memory of the dead in me can tell me. Why? Because this is an unconscious record. The other does not die fully. It is inside us through the memories, the longing, the love we love. So I will have it. So the moment I sleep, I lose this control. I usually say that at dawn I lose 70% of my intelligence, because sometimes I wake up and think every nonsense, every absurd, that I don't think throughout my day. Why, it seems that I am in fragility, that at night, at dawn I woke up and at that moment I cannot take sleep again. So it seems that there is a window inside my intelligence that makes me think absurd nonsense. So white is sizing the problems. They get much bigger than they are. At dawn, the problems get much bigger than they are. It's impressive. That's why we need to manage these moments well. Then fine. When I sleep, I lose this control. So my unconscious throws out all that is stored in it. So the memories that two have from my father dating in that agony return. And sometimes only time is correcting it from us. Donna Maria. So, be quiet. Ask God to make the unconscious of the lady throw everything out. Everything that was badly resolved or well resolved. That we keep everything so that, gradually, this presence of her husband in the life of the lady becomes natural. Becomes a beautiful longing that will no longer provoke these discomfort you. And I know exactly what you are talking about, because I lived a lot in my life, with the death of my father, and then with the death of my sister. So we lost someone who is very close to us. These records are. I'm facing this now with Cleo's death. Every now and then I have beautiful dreams with her. But from time to time, I have horrible dreams. In that sad experience, I had to be on her last day of life. He dying. and then being there in that ill. Of course, this is traumatic for you. He is a person you love, is a person who hitherto took care of you, who was your friend, who was your sister, who was your mother. We don't know what the other becomes for us the moment we love. It gets big inside us. So today I also have, many times, awake in the middle of the night with dark nightmares with Cleo. But I'm aware that it's not Cleo giving me messages, because I believe in divine generosity. I believe in divine love that has already welcomed Cleo. I really believe in the deep mercy of God. Looking at the life she lived, to the woman she was, I have no doubt that she is already in eternity enjoying the best. Everything my faith promises me, I believe she is receiving there. So I rationalize and think, that's a record of mine. It's not her and me. It's not she wanting to say that to me. No, it's me who I have here now that managing this grief with all the weight of these memories. Because our mistake is in thinking that the other is telling us that, I'm having these dreams with my husband because he's in a very bad place. Or I'm having these dreams with my husband because a very bad thing will happen to my children and he's warning me. Bad things to our children happen even when no one warns us. And what pretense is this that we can often prevent the lives of happening? What guarantee do we have that we will be alive next week? It is a silly claim. What we need to do is to pray daily and ask God to help us. He clarifies us so that we have the wisdom of making the best decisions. Decisions that will bring us health, which will bring us life, that will deliver us from the dangers that we need to ask. So the dream, it is a record that belongs to me. It is not the other who is giving me a message through dreams. I say again, you have the right to think differently from me. You have the right to believe different from me. This is how I believe. This is the perspective that Christianity gives me. Catholicism, in a special way. Catholicism tells me that I am telling you what the church teaches us, that dreams in line with science are records of the unconscious. They are messages that our unconscious sends us. Okay, you can give this dream a mystical dimension, but it can never allow it to be a determination of the one who died over your life. So, the other does not have this possibility of doing this. I believe that when we begin to humanly investigate our phenomena, we tend to better solve things. I am very afraid when human issues are treated supernaturally, being so natural in us. It will always be a danger to treat human issues supernaturally. Why? Because we give up human resources that are favorable to us, including science, psychology, helping us understand the meaning of dreams in our lives. Otherwise, we become a little wizard, right? We will give supernatural meaning to what is not supernatural. We have deep respect for supernatural realities, but we also need to respect natural realities. I think it is a very intelligent way, O Flive and incarnate faith. I wake up knowing, just as the day will be a surprise, I don't know what it will be. No matter how much I have a programmed, calculated routine, who said God can't surprise me? Who says something of a little girl can happen and provoke me a joy? I don't know. Who says this can't happen? So, looking at the life we have, this year we have, it's as if we gave God the right. Look, sir, I want to be surprised for a new time. I want to allow my destruction, that everything that has ruined in me this year, be a profound teaching that fills me with wisdom, that grants me the grace to identify everything that can be even more beautiful in me. Because this is our desire. It is making our way of being beautiful, beautiful, fair, true. The reality is very attractive when it condenses these three realities. She is beautiful. She is fair. She is true. When we are willing to live Christianity, we do not want to, but to allow the beauty of God to be reflected in us, that are reflected in our attitudes. How does a Christian recognize the other? The way you welcome. I can say, handsome, that I live the gospel, that I am minister of this, minister of that. I am a priest. I am a prophet. But if I treat a person who approaches, I give her a county tem, I froze in it a disbelief of my Christianity. Worse, I get unbelieving of myself, which is the great trap of the devil in us, is when it makes us get stuck in those petty shops that we know what we know from our Christianity, because it is not the judgment of the other who drops me. What I do when I lie my head on my pillow and I know I do not act Christian. It is like this, my people, increasingly allowing this light to reach our conscience, radically transform our way as we look at us, the way we look at each other. This light that floods our room, removing everything that is dim, which makes us stumble in the middle of the dark. When the room is too dark, it is a danger to walk in it. We stumble. We can get hurt because it is missing this light that guides you, which allows you to walk safely. And God enlightens our conscience more and more. This is the life project we need to have for 2015, that our conscience is increasingly enlightened so that God gives us conditions to recognize where we make mistakes, where we are petty, where we are not acting in a beautiful, fair, true way. Then we are entering the year as every Christian needs to enter, a responsibility that puts us sowers of life we want to reap. So be honest. Look at the seeds you have sown in your life. Look at the seeds you have sown in the other's life. Brands of what is gone, dreams we will have. We always need to articulate what is gone with what we will still have. Life is much more beautiful when we can manage these two realities, the past and the future, wisely. Even because the present, this moment we have now, is the two-stroke articulation. One that I no longer have, and the other that I didn't even expect. So this wisdom putting me on the possibility of seeing my present time as an opportunity to enforce the past I had, with all the difficulties, with everything that was painful to me, and at the same time, not allowing what to might was painful to keep me from dreaming a better future. You who participate in my life so directly, you who accompany me, you who are my friend. Yeah, when we identify people who are articulating dreams similar to ours, in a time where there is so much war, where there is so much disagreement around the world, we find people who are making their personal effort to establish bridges instead of breaking them. Don't allow prejudice to move us away from each other. That prejudice prevents us from meeting people who sometimes we judge. In a time where the world has been so cruel, we have reduced cruelty in the space that is possible. You identify people who are doing this too. This generates a friendship, a Christian fraternity. Even if another is there in Indonesia and me here in Brazil, knowing that this man who loves in a different language with different customs is looking for the same ideals as me, makes me friends with him, even if we never attend to each other's house. Looking at the brands of what we lived throughout this year, learning for what we can live from now on. I say again, the difficulty of my year was very great, but at the same time so peaceful, so visited by hope. because that is what God moves me, living. I cannot bear witness to my faith if I am discouraged with life, as much tribulations I have. Maybe you have heard me. One of the tough episodes of my life this year was that my house has literally fell. A very strong rain in Tabate. The structure of my roof was not built as it should be to support a very large volume of water. Water entered all the conduits. I lost all of the wooden floor. I lost the rooms. The whole house plaster ceiling fell, collapsed. It was a very sad thing. I remember I was traveling, and when I got home, Teka, I've seen it for the garden. I've seen that something very serious had happened. It was on March 9th. When the teak waited for me to go down from the taxi, she hugged me already crying. I remember right as if it were today. She told me like this. Please be calm with everything you will see. And when I entered, guys, it was a horrible view of seeing the fruit of your work. Your commitment. Your things. All that just Luca, my puppy. And it was impressive how God healed me through that creature at that moment, Eager those wide, alone, happy because I was coming home, not knowing the meaning of that destruction because he didn't even know that it was destroyed. He just wanted to find me. His friend had been 15 days away, traveling, and was coming back at that time. He had no intention of looking at me with some look other than the joy of seeing me. And it is as if, at that moment, God made me understand through the non-understanding of Luca, the tragedy, that life can always be beautiful since we find a reason, although it is small, for us to start over in our history. What is a destroyed house? Anything. Is it a financial loss? And what we can't allow is that the house falls inside us. What we cannot allow is that the structure that supports us can crumble through the problems we face. I don't have a child to hug me when I come back. Maybe you have. You may have people who can mean all your disasters, all your tragedies at the moment you get home and hug you. At that moment, Teek's hug was a livelihood for myself. But what God spoke in me through that creature, who does not understand anything about tragedy, to identify at that moment the voice of God speaking in me, just as Francis of Assisi said through nature, through the animals, committed me even more with all that I needed to drop inside me with that house. Because sometimes it's not just a falling wall, it's not just a roof that collapses, it's human structures within us that need to crumble. Our attachment, who knows? Our attachment to what is material. And suddenly when I looked at all that we can materially rebuild, and I saw my friend who could not have been rebuilt if he had been killed, just as we look at a father, a mother, a child. And you realize that this is not material that can be rebuilt. That if the disease takes us, if death shakes us, a wall you rebuild, a ceiling you tidy up, a gate that fell you get up, a garden that has been destroyed, you rebuild. Now a person does not walk. A human being will always be the greatest preciousness we can have in history, in our personal history. The love we love, the forgiveness we give, everything we live in the daily lives of our house, with our parent, with our brothers, with our friends. At that moment, the hug of Luca, that smiling look at me told me that glad you came back. Full stop. Glad you are here. Full stop. And then after we find someone who tells us, good that you are here, with a tail that swings or a voice that is possible to be said, How good you came. How good you came. How good you arrive. Good that you eat's part of my life. So we're on the right track, my people. This year I want peace in my heart. So let's do our part, right? I want peace. I will build my relationships. I will close the doors that I need to close for everything that is harmful to me. I can have the courage to close doors, no matter how painful it is to close that door. Because I know that open door does not bring me peace. It is life change. New Year's Eve is a wonderful time for us to take stock. Trade takes stock. Trade identifies what gives damage and what not. And the good entrepreneur is the one who changes what is causing him damage. The good entrepreneur is one who, the moment he takes stock of his company, his store, his vendinha, what it is, finds that he needs to change some attitudes in his way of working, in his way of acting, so that it does not continue to bitter damage. The same thing we need to do through our effective life. Start paying attention to the relationships that we feed throughout the year. What is harmful to us in this relationship? Establish, score. Is it right? It's my right. It's your right to look at the structure of your life and have the right to change what you think will be better for your personal freedom. Your way of being of God. Creating this peace. You, the builder of your peace. You establish inside your home the breakdown of these barriers that get us so away. I like to always say that it is very easy for us to build gasabans indoors. It is very easy for us to separate our brother from our life. I say this to you through what I experience in my daily life. How hard it is to articulate affection in a healthy manner in a balanced way. Being too much loved is bad. Being loved less, is it bad? A peace is the moment when we established a bond that really gives us conditions to be who we are. I want peace in my heart, whoever wants to be. Having a friend and give me a hand is the meaning of the Christian community. We can be friends, yes, friends of the word that unites us, friend of the gospel that congregates us, friends of the sacrament that feeds us, friend of the meetings. Also, friend of intimacy. What we cannot give up is to establish this universal fraternity. We need to be friends of humanity. We need to feed on each other this feeling of respect that makes me look at each other with the respect he deserves. Not to feel the right to invade what I can't, or treat him with disrespect. To impose his bales that are not his. This friendship is so beautiful, my people. When we find out that each one in the place where they live, with the people with whom it lives, is crashing the same ideal, fighting for the same ideal. We want to be better people. December 15th. And I followed, even without answering, because it is impossible. I followed the demonstrations of people from all over Brazil, saying, "Oh, Father, congratulations on your day." I kept thinking about the meaning of so many people wanting to congratulate me that day. And I realized this delicate web that unites us. Right? I am a priest who participates in the lives of these people. I am a priest who I am friends with these people without knowing that I am out. And that this friendship, this fraternity, it is spiritually fed. It's not even face to face. No. You know, I know that someone is wanting my good right now, even if you don't participate in my life. Although I do not hit the door of my house, even if not with me in my daily life, this fraternity is possible when we identify that we want the good of the other. That I want only the good of the other. Brands of what was dreams that we will have as every day was born cloud every dawn, or brands of what was dreams that we will have as every day is born cloud every dawn. The conversion is this. And when you look at everything that is marked in you be events, and you allow God's grace to act on that injured territory, on that territory that has been wounded, I say again, the year was difficult for all of us. I had my difficulties. You had yours. I have my wounds. You have yours. And now only we don't want to turn this year allowing these wounds to continue to determine us. We just want them to teach us, that they lead us to take new positions. This is good. It's good to realize that God acted in your life through what was bad, that God changed your perspectives. This is conversion, my people. That's when we go to God to accomplish in us what we don't know how to do or we don't have the courage. Conversion is that you give God the right to accomplish what you can't even have the courage to perform alone. So many things in my way of being I can't modify alone. I can make my daily effort. But I need this action of God. Conversion is healing. It is a direction of direction. It is to reorient the course in the same way as the day is born and gives me the opportunity to see its entire cycle again. Tomorrow we will have one morning. We will have an afternoon. We will have a night. This cycle I know by color. But everything that will happen throughout this cycle for me will be a suffering. Wherever I go, who I will find. What will I write? What will I say? And all this can be at the service of our conversation. It is you looking at the cycle of this life that never ends. We will always have nights. We will always have mornings. Dawn afternoons. Opportunities. Hours at our disposal. And now, what to do with the time I have? What to do with the day I have? What to do with the new year that is before my eyes? What in my heart I want this year to be more noble? What in my heart I want this year to be higher? I look at the brands that have been. I look at these dreams I have. Past and future concilio. In a wise way to make this conciliation give me a quality gifty. That although life is difficult, we never have to stop. We die a lot when we stop dreaming. We die too much when we idealize and don't dream. When